Arrested development refers to a halt in emotional, mental, or psychological growth.
Another reason why people can have arrested development is because that's where they peaked.
Adults are mean for the same reason. You want to find a sense of belonging within other people that you want to cultivate a community with. So you do things like degrade somebody, gossip about somebody.
When they don't know how to handle conflict as adults. They don't know how to maneuver life as adults because everything is like high school, middle school drama.
What I realize is that a lot of people just got older. They never put effort into growing from who they were. You have to do the older thing in your actions, but mentally you're still thinking like a child.
What's good, peeps? It's your boy JP back at it again with another reaction video, and today we are reacting to Tybuggy podcast. And today's video is the rise of adult children. We're getting older but not growing up. I always say the internet makes us grow up slower. Social media makes us grow up slower. And I know I'm about to get into that in this video. So without further ado, we about to get into the video. But before we do that, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Join the Prosper Gang. We keeping it PG. There is a whole lot of prosperity going on around this mug. You feel me? With that being said, we on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Hit the like and subscribe button, please. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Arrested development refers to a halt in emotional, mental, or psychological growth. This means an individual may be stuck at a certain stage of development and their behavior, emotional processes, responses, or thought patterns may be more characteristic of a child stage than their actual
I know
age.
so many people like that.
So just
Yeah.
kind of like a lack of maturity or in certain areas.
In a nutshell, they haven't developed in
They-
a way
in
that
a way,
is
in
more
a
akin
way,
to an adult.
they stunt their growth mentally. Their growth has been stunted intellectually and mature wise, and they just for whatever reason got stuck at a certain age mentally and just refused to grow past that.
Or whatever their actual age.
Whether they're doing that on purpose because they refuse to grow up without experiencing certain experiences, or they just mentally, for whatever reason, aren't self-aware enough to internalize the way life is happening to them to create the life that they want. So they don't know how to do that, so they stay stuck just reacting to life instead of being proactive and creating the scenarios they would want to see in life.
You know
Right,
what I
you're
mean?
in
But
that
like
process.
if you're 25, 26,
There's
but you
certain
may be-
signs that you should be like. There's certain marks that you should be hitting emotionally.
and how you think
intellectually.
about
At least mentally, if you're not doing it physically, like not everybody got a house, not everybody got the career and all this other stuff. I get that, right? But at least mentally, you should be hitting some type of standpoints in your life mentally.
things,
Yeah.
how you process things. Those things should be more mature. They should be more based on your ideals, keeping order of things and being respectful of, all parties, rather than it being very self-centered as a child would.
Word.
Yo, when I hear arrested development, you know who I think about immediately? People that are in the streets. People that are in the streets fighting and risking their lives over colors. Or people that are throwing up hand signals to signify the group they're in. Like when I see the street culture, I'm like, bro, you really never matured into how an adult is supposed to emotionally break down a situation. So y'all are all just reacting off of pure emotions,
I would definitely agree with that. The reason why I don't talk much about that is because though I understand some of the men that grow up thinking like that, I'm not from LA. I'm not from the West Coast. I'm not from where they gangbang hard. Like where I'm from the I grew up in a low income area where you had your Bloods and your Crips. And it wasn't real Bloods and Crips. Ain't nobody really catching bodies or all are really on some, they might fight, you know, not hang with each other, but it ain't nothing for real. Like, it's not life or death. It's just y'all had nothing better else to do, so y'all decided to be Bloods and Crips. Like, whatever. Like, I don't want to hear it from where I'm from. Miss me with the bullshit, right? But if you talking about, like, I don't speak on LA. That's a different type of culture that they take that to heart, and it's different out there. They experience it a whole lot different than everybody else. So I can't speak on LA and where they really, really gang bang, where that's their culture to the T, to where even as adults, you can't even wear certain hats in certain neighborhoods because it means something. We don't got that out here in Texas, in Houston. You wear whatever you want to wear. Shit, sometimes the Bloods wear blue, and sometimes the Crips wear red. It's just whoever they cool with, whoever they cool with that day. You know what I mean? So whatever.
Off of wounds, emotional wounds, but y'all never fix them. And now y'all are all around each other, just getting active, just emotional people, just having temper tantrums.
I mean, he's still speaking truth, but I just know it's with LA is more circumstantial. It ain't as easy as black and white as what Tybuggy is saying in LA. Now, other regions, other country, like where I'm from, it's definitely just that simple. Just stop doing it, nigga. You don't got to do that shit. But everybody else, I can't speak for LA. You know what I mean?
Outside. You never grew out of the childlike mindset that you had when you was younger and how you used to deal with your emotions, or maybe you had to bottle up your emotions as a child, and the only way you was able to express it was anger. But you never learned how to control your emotions. So now all of y'all are in the streets and y'all think y'all are fighting for something, but y'all are really just all fighting off of emotion. Thug, traumatic human, unable to grieve. That's what I read in a book, and it sticks out to me every time I think about it. Y'all have been traumatized, and instead of you using your adult mind to grieve of whatever you was going through, whatever you seen growing up, or whatever, your dad not being there, or your mom just, lacking in a certain place, or whatever it was, seeing death early, whatever it was, you never grieved properly over that. So that trauma controls what you do in life along with your neighbors. So now you have created groups amongst your trauma, and you fight trauma to trauma. Instead of, no, I need to learn how to deal with this in a different way. I've been doing this since I was 17 years old, and now I am 47. There's no reason why I'm sitting up on the internet talking about I own this street, and I don't own nothing on this street.
Arrested development is
real quick. I'm always looking for.
Shout out to you, Ty. Y'all and this goddamn, I support it. You know what I mean? Shout out to the brother. Get your bread, brother.
Near free money at that point. An extra $100 could pay a bill or two. So just try it out for yourself.
Because to cultivate their communities, the reason as to why a lot of people are stuck in arrested development is because to cultivate their communities, to cultivate their own personalities, they're still using high school and middle school tactics that they learned to formulate their first communities away from their family and away from their family dynamics, which is why I think that a lot of people are stuck in arrested development.
I'm tired of this damn thing not working. When I hit the stop button, it need to stop. Anyway, yeah, and that because a lot of us don't, and I said this in a previous video, a lot of us don't know how to make active friends. We don't. We know how to make friends due to circumstance. You just repeat the same ways, and this is what she's saying. You just repeat the same patterns you had that you used to make friends in high school. You just carry that outside of high school and try to recreate those same type of friends in those same type of way. We're not realizing life don't move like that. People got careers. People got other things going on. You look weird doing that. You look not just weird, you look lame. You need to grow up, right? And unfortunately, a lot of times we don't do that. And if the ones that do grow out of that, we typically grow into, well, we're going to make friends based off how much money we can make with each other. typically falls like that too, right? You know what I mean? We start using each other and shit, right? It's a skill set. Just like it's a skill set to date properly, it's a skill set to make real active friends. That just don't happen. We did it when we was broke and we was all kids, because you didn't have all these other factors. You literally just had to get along with somebody. When you get older and you got taxes, money, where you live, the financial class you fall in, your work schedule, your health, your if you got kids already, what type of job you got, what type of availability time you got, what part of the city y'all live in. Y'all might have moved to different cities. Like, all that stuff play into factor to now making friends. So now you got all these other factors when it comes to making friends. Same thing with relationships when you date somebody in high school. When you date somebody in high school, it's, I like you. My parents might have to be okay with you. And do we go to the same class so I can see you throughout the high school day? That's it. When you're adults, it's how much money you got, where the trajectory of your life going. Do you plan on getting married? Do you like kids? Do you want kids? Do you like cats and dogs? What type of living do you want to have? Do you want a house? Do you want an apartment? Do you what type of friend groups you have? Are you big on friends? Do you like to party? Do you like to stay in the house? Now you got all these other factors that play into adult relationships that you have to figure out and learn. And what happens is the average person don't know how to transition to those things. We just do it accidentally, and a lot of us do it wrong, including me, until you are self-aware and you start realizing, oh, this is how the game go. This is how you supposed to do it. Then it start working. Right? Then you start formulating and start adjusting to how the game really works. But what happens is when people get into this arrested development, they're not self-aware enough to realize these things, and they get stuck. And they get capped at a certain age limit, and they don't grow no more. Because they don't do no self-reflection. Like I said, people self-reflect once a year and once in every blue moon in my self-reflecting video that nobody wanted to watch because it's not cool. It's not talking about dating. So we don't like self-reflecting. Y'all some bunch of losers if you don't like self-reflecting, obviously. But with that being said, let's continue with the video.
You have to cultivate your community around being mean or belittling somebody outside to feel a sense of belonging. You are stuck in arrested development.
That too.
We all know that kids are naturally mean, but they learn that based off of the interactions that they have, especially in high school. Kids are mean, but they are mean because they are copying and mocking the other people that they want to find a sense of belonging with, right?
Right.
You adults are mean for the same reason. You want to find a sense of belonging within other people that you want to cultivate a community with. So you do things like degrade somebody, gossip about somebody.
And that's why a lot of times in our workplaces, it just feel like an upgraded high school. They do. Even in my job, it feel like an upgraded high school. That's all. You got the cool people, the people that when a work event going down, they got all the people that go out and do it. They don't tell nobody else. You got the people that's off to themselves. You got the people that go to work and go home. And you got people like me that just like, hey, listen, I'm here. I'm cool with y'all. Like, I'm like cordial with y'all, but I'm a hustler outside of this. Like, I don't want to stay here. Y'all can stay here forever. I'm trying to get up out of here. So hit the like and subscribe button. Join the Prosper Gang. We keep it a PG. There's a whole lot of prosperity going on around this mug. You feel me? Hit that like and subscribe button, please. So y'all can help me get away from my job. But anyway, yeah, I definitely do agree with that. And that's why work sometimes be an upgraded, but still stupid version of high school.
I'm saying just try to find things to belittle somebody about instead of working inwardly with yourself or within yourself to structuralize a sense of self-confidence, to understand that you don't have to belittle somebody outside of you to create a foundational community. But because you haven't unconditioned yourself from that high school mentality of having to bully other people who are not like you to feel a sense of belonging, that is what you do, and that is what you opt to do. A lot of people are stuck in arrested development. They have not developed their emotional capacity to understand that there are different ways to cultivate community. Instead of somebody just being okay with being in their own energy, you find it abnormal because you need a sense of belonging, and you will try to bully or badger that person for just being okay with being by themselves. People are really stuck in arrested development, but because a lot of people are not working towards expanding their emotional development, they will be stuck that way for life.
And I'm gonna tell you another reason why people get stuck in arrested development, because it's comfortable there. That is another reason. When everybody is kept at a certain age, or most people around you is kept at a certain age, you stay there too. Or you only grow as much as the people around you grow, because you don't want to feel like you're isolated and we're alone. I watched a video about the psychologist, and they did, well, not about the psychologist, but with the psychologist. And in the video, the psychologist said humans are pack creatures too, or pack animals, pack creatures too, a pack species, and because of that, we tend to move in a pack too. Like, we don't want to be the isolated, the lone wolf. Like, no, I mean, I know it's cool to be the lone wolf now because there's a cinema in the movies. Like, you got the little Sigma male or whatever, and everybody off to themselves, right? But in general, people don't like being the lone wolf. Nobody wants to be alone. I mean, I know people talk like that because they suck at being with people, so they say they like being alone. Nobody really wants to be alone. Like, let's get that straight. Nobody really wants to. And because of that, sometimes people will get stuck in arrested development to have a sense of belonging to somebody. Now, some people want to develop so bad that we will rather be alone than to be stuck and capped just to have friends. I am definitely one of those people. If I got to be alone, I will find a community that I don't have to suffer from arrested development for me to have a sense of belonging. Now, I'm not about to be stuck with some niggas and have arrested development just so I can have some friends. I'm not doing that. And another reason, I want to say this too, another reason why people can't have arrested development is because that's where they peaked. They peaked at a certain age mentally, peaked at a mental age, and they don't want to grow because they feel like they grow, they are going to descend from that peak. So they rather stay at that age because they think the longer they stay at that age, that they peak will last longer, and it don't. What happens is people keep growing, and they look at you like a has-been that don't want to grow up. You gonna drop from that peak one way or another. Either peak at your next mental age or just drop. There's no other way around that.
Cannot fix those people, which is why a lot of the people that are cool as hell are by themselves. The reason as to why.
And this is why a lot of times I say, man, age doesn't really matter sometimes. Like, because there's a lot of people with old ages because of time, but they never really matured out of an old way of thinking.
Right.
Too many people believe that maturity, like age and maturity just come together. Because I'm older, I'm smarter than you. Because I'm older, I'm automatically mature. No, it is an effort that you have to make towards maturity, towards maturing past what you used to think. But what I've seen, and I remember the first time I realized this was when I was 20. I was 20 years old, and I was working in a warehouse, and that was my first adult job. Prior to that, I worked like at a coffee shop, a cell phone kiosk, McDonald's. I worked at my college campus. Now, I mean, but this was my first job where I was really working with adults, and it was just like high school, working in a warehouse. I mean, it married people and all. Like, it was just, I'm like, yo, there's no way y'all talk about the same things we talk about. Now, I mean, I'm fresh out of high school at the time, so I still have my high school brain a little bit. But these people literally operate. It was like a what do you call that?
And that because that's all they know how to do. And that's why I say people lack that transition. They don't know how to transition. They either force a transition, they either some people actively run towards that transition and try to figure it out. Some people are forced into that transition and have to figure it out. Some people just never do it. Some people want to, don't know how, and some people just never do it because it's just the safest thing to do. It's the safest thing to stay stupid. Not stupid, I ain't gonna say that. But it's the safest thing to stay mentally young if you feel like everybody around you is doing that, so you can belong somewhere. And that's why I say your workplace is just an upgraded version of high school. Sad.
Room, it was just like the lunchroom. The conversations that go through the warehouse, the drama, everything. What I realized is that a lot of people just got older. They never put effort into growing from who they were. They just got older. Their responsibilities just started compiling because you're older now. You have to do the older thing in your actions, but mentally you're still thinking like a child. And those are the hardest people to deal with because you expect them to get it because they're older. So when people say things like, yeah, well, you know, because of how old I am, yeah, but yeah, you're 50, but what kind of 50 are you? What kind of work did you do on yourself on your way to 50? Because just saying you're 50 does not say you're wise. Just saying you're 50 does not say you're mature. That says that you have experienced a lot in life. But if you have not learned from what you've experienced in life, more than likely you just repeated it. And now you're 50 getting ready to repeat it to me because I'm younger than you. But now if
let them know,
I'm looking at
Tybuggy.
somebody else that's 50 and I'm like, man, how
Let
did
him
he
cook.
do it? And I'm learning from him. And then I come to you and you give me your regurgitated mistakes in life that you never changed and tell me I'm wrong because I'm young, but I've learned something that you should have learned from somebody else or a book or whatever.
Right.
You can't give me age.
At all.
You can't give me age.
I've been on this earth longer than you. Shut your ass up, nigga. Ain't nobody trying to hear none of that. Terrible.
If you have not done the work, and I'm actively doing the work that you've never done just because you've been on earth longer than me. Nah, bro.
Means an individual may be stuck at a certain stage of development refers to a halt in emotional, mental, or psychological growth. This means an individual may be stuck at a certain stage of development and their behavior, emotional processes, responses, or thought patterns may be more characteristic of a child stage than their actual age.
So just kind of like a lack of maturity or in certain areas.
In a nutshell, they haven't developed in a way that is more akin to an adult, or whatever their actual development refers to a halt in emotion.
It's a little crazy when you ain't got like the right music playing in the back. It look like they really like looking at him as an experiment or something. It's something's just in the corner, like it's really one of those moments. Like cut the music off. What are you doing? What was this? What was this? I don't want to disrespect nobody. Crazy.
You can always tell the women that never developed mentally or emotionally or matured past grade school age, or haven't gotten past grade school behaviors or mentality, sort of like an arrested development, by the way that they handle conflict with other adults, because you can tell in the way they handle it, because they handle it like they're in grade school. For example, normal adults, when there's a difference, when you're not getting along with another adult, you either talk about it like adults and, you know, an argument may ensue, but you just always come to a point where it's either we don't agree and we go our separate ways, or, hey, like, you know, we can work this through and let's communicate and let's figure it out. Little girls, little children, when they're having conflict with somebody, instead of just taking it for what it is and then moving on or like handling maturely, this is what they do. They get into the argument with a person and then they'll go to somebody else and go, I don't like that person. Did you know she was a dirty hoe? Did you know she did this, this, and that? And start rumors. That's
That escalated.
6th grade at most. You can just tell.
She talking about somebody personal. I hope they see this video and y'all talk that shit out.
When like they don't know how to handle conflict as adults, they don't know how to maneuver life as adults, because everything is like high school, middle school drama. Every time.
That's the scariest part about people that like suffer with arrestive development. They genuinely don't know how to do the thing you're expecting of them. Genuinely. Like, imagine if you never went to a math class in your life. Somebody shows you 2 + 2 at the age of 30, and you've never done a math class. You're going to be like, yo, what is this? And they're like, yo, how don't you know what 2 + yo, put the 2 deuces up and add it up. What is that? I don't know. Like, bro, it is what it is. Like, it's just variables. It's something I'm looking at. You probably can't even say.
And that's why some arrested development is due to circumstance too. So sometimes it's not always the people's fault, though most of the time it is. And especially in these eras where you got all this internet and information in front of you, like, it's almost no excuse for none of this. But I can understand in some cases, very few rare cases, and you know, some people just, their circumstances just don't allow it. But like I say, once you hit a certain age, you get access to certain type of equipment and certain type of technology. There's damn near no excuse for none of this. We got AI now, y'all. Come on, there's really no point to not know nothing.
They genuinely don't know the thing that we want them to know. And this is why work is very necessary. Age and time doesn't just give you these things. To grow in these places, it takes a mature action to sit down in math class and actually learn it. There's a mature place that we all have to reach to sit down in class and really like, okay, how do I handle things emotionally? And this is why a lot of dudes on the internet be losing me too. When they speak on men and say men aren't supposed to be emotional and stuff like that. Part of the reason why I feel like a lot of men struggle with arrested development is because we were never really allowed to have emotions. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, shut up, don't cry. You know, shut up and be tough. Shut up, you're a boy. But here's the thing. At some point in time in a boy's life, you're going to have to be emotionally aware. But how are you aware of something you were never allowed to use? Let's think about that.
As I say, some of it is circumstantial and environmental. So, I mean, I get that. That's very true.
If every time an emotion arised within me, it was shut down, how am I going to be aware of this? So this is why it is very important for us to still, because a lot of us boys and a lot of us men, we're going to go through it regardless. So to do that work individually, because I tell y'all right now, once you have a daughter, right, and your daughter's feeling some type of way, you can't beat your daughter down with logic. It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? You can give her logic, but you can't lead with just logic. You have to meet her where she is and then give her the logic. You know, at the end of the conversation, here's the logic though, baby girl. Now I mean, but you got to be able to be emotionally aware to be aware of how she's feeling, not just what you think of the situation. When it comes to once you're married, I mean, the women go through cycles. You know what I mean? It's so many moments in your life that you have to be emotionally aware to handle a situation. I'll give you another one. If a man says something crazy to you and your family while y'all out, but you know you got to protect your family, you have to be emotionally aware in that moment. Because if you're not aware of your emotions, if you're not aware of how you're feeling versus what you should do, you can put everybody's life in jeopardy for somebody that ain't got nothing to lose. Aggression needs a lot of emotional intelligence.
Right.
If you talk to anybody that has done any type of...
If not, that aggression is going to be your downfall. The only way to protect yourself with a strong level of aggression is to have just as strong level of emotional intelligence. Straight up. Straight up.
martial arts or anything like that, they will tell you that the person that loses is the person that loses this first.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
My pops always told me, shout out to my pops, love that man. I mean, he's still alive, y'all. I'm just saying. I love my pops. Anyway, shout out to him. He told me, and I still hold this very true, very dearly to my heart to this day. He said, your first line of defense ever in life, your first line of defense is your brain. And I'm going to say that to my son whenever I one day have one. And to my daughter too. Your first line of defense is your brain first. You think here and you maybe never have to use anything else. Remember that. And y'all can take that from me. My dad gave me this and I'm giving that to y'all. Your first line of defense in any dispute, physical dispute, emotional dispute, verbal dispute, financial dispute, whatever. Your first line of defense is this up here. And how you react to the situation and how you choose to navigate through it. You got to be fast with it though. Sometimes it happens fast. The faster you are with it, the better your situation is. But this is your first line of defense. And if you use this well enough, you ain't never got to use these or never got to do the pum. Now, sometimes you can't. Sometimes your first line of defense tells you this is the only thing you can do. And you got to do what you got to do. But if you got time and you got space, use this. It'll save your life and the life of many people around you. So do that.
And when people be like, when I get mad, I see red flag, flag on the play. Why are you seeing red? And why are you saying that as if that's good?
Right, because they have arrested development.
Most emotional person is gonna lose because you're not in control of yourself. Your emotions are. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't have emotions. It's just to be able to regulate our emotions. But for a lot of men, we are not able to speak towards our emotions because we're told we're not allowed to have them. So how does it come out? Anger. Men are supposed to be tough. Men ain't supposed to care. So, all right, boom. When I have anger, now I mean, I'm allowed to have that. I ain't supposed to cry. Which I ain't never said I ain't supposed to, you know. So that's where we express it. A lot of men are sitting in a grave, laying in a grave right now, or sitting behind bars right now because that's the only emotion they understood.
Shout out to Tybuggy. He got about a little less than 15 minutes left in this video. He got a 30-minute video, but my video already hit the 30-minute mark, so we need to go ahead and cut this one short. All right, shout out to Tybuggy though. This is a great video. I think it's an important video. But, you know, people like to talk about women. People like to talk about drama. People like to talk about trending topics. So we'll see how this video do. But I hope it does well because these type of videos really show my intelligence. And it ain't just on some, like, trendy stuff. Which I try to squeeze that in there too. But you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? But hit the like and subscribe button. Join the Prosper gang, y'all. And also subscribe to Tybuggy too. We're keeping it PG. There is a whole lot of prosperity going on around this mug. You feel me? Remember, there is nothing impossible to they who try. So next time I'm out. Deuce.